Huh.
All right, so here's kind of a final on the deadhead sander mod. So I took a regular 6x80 Grizzly sander, which is I can never remember the model numbers, but it's the sander that they paired with the radius adapter, the radius jig that they sell for fretboards. I don't use it for that. I made a Mickey Mouse radius jig and I wasn't really happy with it. And if I ever have to radius so many fretboards I need to set up something like that, then I'll make a good one, and it'll serve two purposes, because this is all, you can take it all apart. So all I did was from the last video, I think I left you where this block was just sitting here and it wasn't really necessarily perfectly sized. I put the graphite pad underneath there for the belt to ride on. And I just needed to take some material off this edge that's going against the sander table here, or the sander platen where the belt used to ride, and just had to take off enough of theirs and keep pushing it back until I had the right kind of leeway here on my belt. It was too tight the way it was. So, and I just drilled holes and then I threaded the table, and so these just unscrew and it goes out of there. It goes right back to a 6x80. I pulled the dust collector off of the hood back here where it normally connects to, and I just hung it with a strap here, so it's right over on the end where the dust is coming off of it. And I also did a little test radiusing. I don't have a fretboard on this. This has been kind of my test neck all through setting up these new jigs, and so I wish there was more color contrast. This thing is so white, piece of pine here, but I just did that on the sander, and it just fits right in there. I haven't spent any time trying to clean up the radiuses, or, right at the heel and the neck. The nut end. Anyway, so and I didn't pre carve this at all, which I will probably do with different necks, just to get some of the material off, so there's just not taking so long blowing dust into the bag. Anyway, so it's pretty efficient. When I actually do a neck on it, I'll show you. But at this point, this is kind of the wrap up for this, just to show you that it's done, it's working. Plug your ears. Tracks nicely. I was afraid that I might have an issue with that tracking, since it's bigger than it was designed to be. But I just raised or lowered the table to make sure that the belt was centered on the rollers on the sander itself, and then centered in the block. So everything's good. Deadhead sander, made out of a big pine block, or two pieces of big pine block glued together. My pine neck. This is all I told you before about this pine I scored. An old carver buddy of mine was hanging it all up and moving, and he gave me just a bunch of this pine, and it's just really nice for a lot of different things. I got to make a guitar body out of this at some point, just for kicks. Well, I told you I'd probably bring you in to do the carving on the sander, that carving on the sander, and to be quite honest, I was not comfortable yet, since it's the first time I've done it on the Deadhead. But I rough carved to a point, and then I went over to the sander, and I'm just trying to stay out here in the light where you can see this, but I don't want to. I'm going to zoom it in. Okay, so I'm back in the light, but zoomed. So you can see up here, I have my center line Well, if I can get to where you can see it. Well, it's in the mahogany there, but so it's harder to see, but you can see the pencil line, possibly. And I haven't touched that, so it's actually the mahogany, the center mahogany strip is pretty much just flat still. So I got a little bit of an edge on either side of that, kind of down onto the maple a bit. So the, back out a little bit, maybe not. You can see how that rolling from one side to the other has given me this kind of a weird little overlap here. This is my final thickness right here. I haven't gone past that anywhere, so I'm very happy about that. I'll just be hand carving around here to even this out and sanding. And then the same on the opposite end here. Because the body, you can see that pencil line going across there. The body does that, only that's giving me about a 1/4 inch back to the body, so if I go to that pencil line, I'm going to only have just a little bit of margin between the body and the neck, which I like. You can see that I rolled up on the, back in the light, rolled up on the sander right in there, so, and I've actually rolled up onto, just very slightly onto the fretboard on either side, which I wanted to do, and I'll finish that. I like to keep, I like to kind of follow that radius up so that you don't end up with a big flat edge against the, at the fretboard point. So it's just a matter of tidying these up and carving into the lines and just final sanding all that out. So I'm very happy with the result of that. I will say that I don't remember what grit this belt was. And I know I got one coarser than that. I know I got a belt. I got this belt and one coarser. Well, maybe not one grit. I'll have to check it. But I'd like to get a finer one for that sander because it's still very aggressive. I imagine as the belt wears, it'll make a difference. But it would be very, very easy to take this way too quickly, accidentally be looking at one end of the thing while the other end's bumping it and doing some damage that you can't sand out. So, but as it stands, I haven't gone past any limits, which I'm happy to say. And so I just got, you can feel, if you feel around the neck, you can feel some facets here and there, but I just haven't, I didn't roll it perfectly smooth. So, but I will catch all that by hand. Certainly quicker to get it down this direction, this way with the sander. I was considering using the oscillating spindle sander to kind of finish up at the heel and get some of that out, but I think I'm just going to work that out by hand and just go with that. I'm more comfortable with that. I sure don't want to get to this point on my neck and blow it because I got a little overzealous with the sander. So that's what I'm going to do. I may at some point try doing that on sander. What the heck? I'm probably going to try it on this one. I'm just not going to film it. If we come back and I have a different neck and there's no skull inlay on it, and you'll know that I messed up. But yeah, I might try to take a little bit of this material off with that, with the oscillating sander. Anyway, not sure what I'm going to do yet. Just got out here for the evening after work, and I'm waiting for the heater to kind of warm this place up so my brain functions. And but that's where we're at. All right, man. Hey, thanks for checking out this whole Deadhead Sander series, and for your feedback and all that kind of stuff along the way. It's appreciated. And you just go make some dust.